Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Khalil Doheny, and I'm the Director of Content Marketing at Digital Niche Agency. Today, we have Holden Forrest from HiberTec. Holden, how are you doing today? Of
I'm doing great, Khalil. Thank you for having me.
course. And we have Mikey. Mikey, how are you doing today?
I am well. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. And while people are trickling in, I kind of wanted to share my screen for a second to play a little video. And when that video is completed, we will go ahead and continue with the session here. Give me 1 second.
In California alone, thousands of homes burn to the ground each year because of wildfires. And the numbers are only increasing as over 3 million California homes are located within high-risk wildfire areas. When these raised homes are rebuilt, they are constructed using materials severely ineffective to wildfires because nothing is fireproof. Wildfires typically burn 3 times hotter than the best fire retardant materials can handle. This means that any house, neighborhood, or community that a wildfire targets will be destroyed. Until now. HiberTec Homes is an innovative, cutting-edge, fully patented design and process where custom, fully scalable modular homes automatically lower completely underground when wildfire threats arise, to then resurface safely to ground level after the threat has passed. The entire process of transitioning a HiberTec home to its protective underground vault is estimated to be 15 minutes or less, and will be fully automated, designed to be initiated via an app on any smartphone. Before hydraulically lowering underground, the home's sewer, water, and utility lines are disconnected via a patented mechanism that ensures safe and proper transitioning. A non-toxic fire retardant system sprays the immediate area surrounding the home as it descends. Once final descent has completed, a retractable titanium alloy roof structure deploys to temporarily seal the vault's enclosure. This venture is the result of over 3 years of comprehensive engineering and architecture, with multiple patents issued and pending. HiberTec estimates direct savings of well over $25 billion per year, with thousands of homes and lives saved. HiberTec Homes means never having to rebuild again. Join the HiberTec revolution.
Awesome. And Holden, I'm going to pass the mic back to you. Can you just give a slight background on yourself and really, what inspired you to really start HiberTech?
Well, great. Well, first, I'd like to give a proper introduction to Mikey Pearson. Uh, Mikey's on my executive team and was the mayor of Malibu during the devastating Woolsey wildfire. And I think, Mikey, are you the current planning commissioner for Malibu as well?
Nope, not anymore.
Okay, did that end recently?
About a year ago, yes, actually. Went back to my private practice life.
Oh, that's good. Business consulting.
Yeah.
Uh, you've been an instrumental person in my group because you were there at ground zero to watch what happened during the Woolsey fire, and you've been living in Malibu. So you've seen this as a recurring horrible theme that's happened uh, far too often. And when I was launching HiberTech at the beginning, even before our first patent, I think, was issued, I wanted to speak with you because you'd been there and done that, and you'd seen it, and I wanted to get your take on what I was doing if you thought I was completely out of my mind. And even though at that time I was pretty confident I had a pretty good solution, but I wanted to get the take of somebody um, that could really tell me whether it might be something that would be viable or not, or valuable for your community. And your community, of course, isn't just Malibu. I mean, the whole west side, Calabasas, Hidden Hills, uh, all are at risk and burning. And not to mention down here in Laguna Beach, where I am, and all the way up to Napa and Sonoma and all that. But does it make sense? And if I could make it affordable, and looking at my technology and saving homes and lives, is it something that you could endorse, basically, and get and endorse and understand? And I won't put my words in your mouth. You were kind enough to get it. You understood it, and then we were able just to blow up from there, because then I could really bounce ideas off you and get your impact. So thank you for being part of my squad.
Certainly, certainly. I mean, the one thing I know from, going through multiple fires, particularly the Woolsey fires, is things have to change. what we've been doing isn't working overall. We have to, if we're going to live in the WUI, the wild urban interface, we have to build homes that don't burn down, because fire is inevitable. They're bigger. The Woolsey fire showed us that there's no amount of firemen that we could possibly hire that can be there to protect our homes anymore. It just doesn't work that way. The math doesn't work out. So we have to look at all options in what we do. Certainly building hardened homes is important, but looking for innovative technologies that can really change the game also has to be a part of the mix. And so with HiberTec, I was like, wow, well, here's an innovative idea. Does this make sense? And you and I spent enough time together going over, and I saw the reaction from other elected officials like Adam Schiff and people like that, to know that, okay, this is checking boxes that is checking in my mind. And I think sometimes you and I see it a little bit differently. I've always minimally, let's just say we aren't building neighborhoods with HiberTec, but critical infrastructure is a no-brainer. Absolutely a no-brainer. How do you not build critical infrastructure to withstand the worst that nature can bring? And it's beyond, it's not just fire for me. It could be hurricanes, it could be a myriad of disasters. And so to me, HiberTec, minimally, worst case scenario, has a massive future protecting critical infrastructure. Now it's affordable for houses and for neighborhoods, complete game changer. So, and that's I think where HiberTec is right now, ready to launch on showing that is not only possible, but economically feasible.
Oh, what a great segue. Thank you. And because we're right now where we are, Khalil, in the process is we are doing a fundraising on republic.com, also fundable.com for accredited investors, but we're fundraising for a specific purpose, and that is to build our full-scale hydraulic prototype HiberTec home as proof of concept. 2,500 square feet, 2-story, not cutting any corners, going to build the whole thing correctly, go down 30 feet, cover up, disconnect our utilities. All of our patents, we have 3 patents that are not just pending or provisional. These are patents in hand, issued, God blessed by the USPTO, and that just happened in June. This is why we're talking now. Up until then, Mikey and I, everybody on our team, we were in the cone of silence. We just couldn't tell too much to anybody. We were deathly afraid of being squashed by other companies or businesses, or our IP stolen. Maybe a little bit paranoid, but we knew we were onto something good. The more that we got into it, the deeper we did our science. We got I got a PhD thermal engineer from Penn State to make sure what is the home, how hot does it get underground? And the worst case scenario of redwoods fall on top of it and bake us for 10 hours, and what happens in all sorts of different scenarios. But once we got some traction that showed we were on the right track, then the next obvious logical step is, okay, we've got the technology, we've got a phenomenal team. I'm a builder and developer. I've got a long history of doing really difficult projects. I mean, incredibly impossible projects. EPA, not just sanctioned, but persecuted and scrutinized projects. So I know I can put a house up and down, to prove what we can do. So that's the next logical step. Yeah, Mikey, you're always warning me of long sentences. That was another long sentence.
Well, if you're not passionate about this project, then we're all in trouble.
Yeah, I guess so. That's luckily, I'm not alone in my passion. You've got it. Jason Pfeiffer, of course, the entrepreneur, the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. We just did a podcast together. We're Entrepreneur Magazine, and Jason were unbelievably gracious and positive about HiberTec and where we're going, and why they think we're a moonshot that has a lot of power and thrust behind us, because we do. We've done so much work. 4 years of intense R&D, comprehensive engineering, from experts that do subterranean engineering to electric and mechanical and structural and civil and everything you can think of, geology. we've got the goods and we've got the weapons now. We just have to build the prototype home. We are doing a fundraising to build that home. And once that happens and it goes up and down and shows the things that we can do, which I hope to do in Malibu or in the Malibu area. I know there's some coastal things, but in the area where we can get the most media to see what we do, I think we're going to be swamped with orders. We can already address a premium market.
Right.
10,000 homes right now that we could build in California alone right now. But as the economies of scale continue, we will get to a point where we can bring the cost down, where we can really provide our solution to the masses, to the entire public, not just here, but in Tornado Alley, like you were saying, other places where our homes could really be a benefit.
Right. And I think too, once this first home is built, it'll give cities like Malibu or LA County a chance to look at it. And as you know, I've already discussed it extensively with them as far as permitting. And
Right.
they don't, almost to my surprise, I thought that might be an obstacle. It's more of a nuance. So it's, you know, it may crop up in certain areas. The code has to be tweaked, but at most it's nothing more than a variance at first. And so that was nice to see. I wasn't sure how that would be received.
Yeah, that's so important. And thank you for that. And also remember, I've been through the wars with that also. My biofuel company was GeoGreen Biofuels. It was built in downtown LA. At any one point, I had 12,000 gallons of methanol on my site, which would have blown up 2 city blocks. So I had to go through variances because they said it couldn't be done. But once it's done and it's finished and it's compliant and OSHA's there and everybody's there and you're making biofuel 9,000 gallons a day, then you've satisfied all of the naysayers, even from the inspectors, the building and safety guys. They see it, it works, it's viable, and then we could go to other cities and make it happen. I believe that's what's going to happen with HiberTec, but even on a lesser level, it's not rocket science here, right? This isn't nearly a time machine that I'm building. When people have objections to HiberTec, the 2 objections I get every single time when people don't look under the hood and see all the work that we've done to make it so plausible is A, people are going to die when they go underground in my home. Well, nobody goes underground in our homes. Nobody rides our homes underground. It just doesn't happen because they don't need to anymore, because they can make our home go underground by an app on a smartphone is the plan, goes underground. They don't have to be in harm's way. That's number one. And number two, am I building a time machine here? Oh my God, this sounds so space age, and it's not really that way. And Mikey, you know this too. There's hydraulics all over the world right now that lift a lot higher than a home. They're in aerospace, they're in shipyards, they're everywhere, and they lift much higher than we're going. You can see people in construction all day long,
And much more weight.
and much more weight. So all I did, really, the genius of HiberTec is to come up with the idea of the hibernating home that goes down and comes back up after the threat's passed, but to repurpose existing technology. And that's the same way cars were made or planes were made. There was already gliders, there was already engines, there were steam engines. It's about taking existing technology. There was, you know, before there were home computers, there was already big computers. They just figured another way to repurpose the available technology. And that's really what we've done.
Well, and let's talk about the human side for a second. One of the huge issues in Malibu now is that because guys like me stayed behind and saved a lot of homes, you have an entire population saying they're not going to leave next time. That's, you know, there was a bunch of guys in my neighborhood that said they weren't going to leave. But when the fire came down Trinkus Canyon into my neighborhood, we turned around and everybody except a few of us had run away. Rightfully so. If you don't understand fire, you have no business being there. Even if you do, you should need to really know what you're doing. With HiberTec, you can just descend the house and leave safely,
Right.
and know your house is going to be okay. That's enormous right now. There was a very wealthy man in Malibu built a home, millions and millions of dollars, and put in the top rated, everything at the top end, because I think he's a billionaire, to protect his home in a wildfire. And I don't know I can't remember what he spent, but it was a huge amount of money. The home's concrete, big home, everything. What happened in Woolsey? His wife at some point said, "This is scary. I want to leave." So he's like, "Oh," he didn't want to leave, but he's like, "Okay," which is common. So they both left. They forgot to close a bathroom window, and the house didn't burn down, but it did. I can't remember what he said, $400,000 worth of damage.
Right.
So, and that was one of the most fire resilient homes in all of Malibu, if not the most fire resilient. So that just shows to me that, as long as you're in the burn zone, things can go wrong.
That's right. And you don't have to be a billionaire to spend a lot of money to make your home fire resistant with fire resistant materials and different tiles you can put on your roof and do landscape remediation all around your property and put sprinklers. But look, if a wildfire is bearing down on you and it's burning at 2000 degrees Fahrenheit and above, which they do, and it lingers to burn everything around you, those houses are sitting ducks, 99% of the time. This guy was great because he was able to build an actual bunker up on, a $1 billion bunker, and he still got toasted by human error. But the bottom line is that HiberTec for the rank and file is the solution. That's going to be, and for businesses also. So that's what we're trying to do here, guys, and we're trying to raise the money to build this HiberTec prototype home. That's the entire plan that we are doing right now, and that's why we're having this webinar. So thank you.
Yeah. And we're already starting to get some questions coming in. So anyone who's attending the webinar right now, if you have a question, please leave it in the Q&A chat box. This whole discussion is to answer your guys' questions. So this is your opportunity to get your questions answered. First question I'm seeing here is to the mayor. Is HiberTec something that governments could use, and would they use it for government real estate like city halls, etc.?
Great question, Michael. That's the opportunity. I think I focused in on it first with HiberTec. I think Holden's focused on neighborhoods, but right away I saw critical infrastructure. Like I said earlier, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. The Malibu City Hall and the Woolsey fire, it is a fairly resilient building. It was evacuated because the amount of smoke that got into it, the amount of ash that still got into it. So our emergency operations center ended up being shared with Santa Monica City. And a lot of citizens were upset. Here we have this resilient building and we had to abandon it. So yeah, I think critical infrastructure like a city hall, etc., fire departments that are up in the burn zone, sheriff stations, all of that, those to me are just super obvious. Absolutely.
Yeah, I talked to Paradise, California, and the city manager and I had a conversation because they were interested because they lost their command center. They're fired in the second day of a multi-day fire, so they lost the ability to marshal their troops properly. I mean, it was gone. But if it had gone underground, everything burns back and it comes back up. You don't lose that hub of being able to organize and marshal your troops around there to help. So I see us saving. That critical infrastructure thing is not lost on me. Since you first brought it up, I'm now thinking about hospitals, urgent care facilities. Oh, they all burn, right? Every time they burn. Not just the Starbucks, the McDonald's, and the Ace Hardwares. Those get toast as well. But
well,
yeah,
if you think about it too, you can, and I don't know if you and I have talked about this. What I've thought about is that you could also protect the energy source to keep these critical infrastructure function. You could also have that lower if that was needed where you are. So there's all sorts of ways to really almost with high certainty make sure that critical infrastructure and the power to run it is saved during these kind of events.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Khalil, that's a good answer to the question about cities. When I was speaking to other political people, they were all thinking about the same thing, that we can provide a solution above and beyond just the neighborhoods that I initially was looking to save.
And then anonymous attendee is asking, great technology and project. Is there a celebrity or big name that would be a part of this? It seems like a perfect fit for a Hollywood movie.
I'll grab that one for a second. I think when Holden gets the the first one built, that's exactly, hopefully it attracts obviously the right people that are interested in building the first home to live in. And if it's in the Malibu area, it seems like there's good odds it might be somebody that's, has a name. Certainly Malibu's got quite a few of those people. So it seems inevitable that could happen. It could be amazing, to have a movie in it. I mean, there's all sorts of other stuff outside the main mission here that can happen with a home as innovative as this. So yeah, good question though.
It's a good question. I've got something to add that I don't think you know, Mikey. Uh, Only because I don't like to count chickens before anything hatches. It's my real estate background. I'm a real estate broker as well as a builder developer, so I've been involved in this a long time. You never count an escrow until it closes. But for the last year, we've been hit hard by celebrities. Um, and I don't think I can name the names, but I can tell you this: the NBA is coming hard. Two major NBA players want to have the first James Bond home, right? They even call us HiberTec. They call us BearTech. They would have the BearTech home in an incredible crib there that is the most technologically advanced home in the world, and it's a good investment too, right? You could buy the thing. I'm going to build that home for $5 million. That includes the land and includes everything. That's already on our pages with use of funds. And when it's done, it's going to be worth far more than that. I can tell you as a real estate broker, you're on 2 acres of land up in the hills in Malibu or Calabasas, and you've got a home that's going up and down. It's 2,500 square feet with all the bells and whistles. It's going to be a cause célèbre. It's going to be a big deal, and we're going to build that. So I would love to have either investors to come on board to help us build this, or a real customer that's going to put down the money to give us a purchase order to build that thing. That would be hilarious and wonderful. And one more thing that I know we can talk about is we've signed a contract, and we never talked about this before. You know about this, Mikey, right? We signed a contract with an established reality television show group, and I know this is so glitzy, and I'm sorry, but they think this is an incredible journey. And the second we can put shovel to the ground, we don't even have to finish this. As soon as we get the funding to start our construction, a television show with the working title Fire Escape kicks in, and they're estimating between 3 and 5 million weekly viewers to watch us take this journey, to be with us together. Good, bad, and ugly. We're going to have successes. We're going to have challenges where we hit water, or there's granite, or there's a permitting thing, and they want to see us go through the whole process of chasing this incredible dream. And why not? We're saving homes with new technology that's never been seen on Earth. We've got the patents that protect it, and a celebrity might want to have that, PR boost. Hard hat watching his house being built, right? I need to get in touch with Miley Cyrus or somebody. Everybody lost their homes. We need to get somebody that could really get the mileage of a fire escape behind them also, and give us a little bit of sizzle. No pun intended.
Holden, who would play you as in a biopic?
Well, somebody incredibly dashing.
Exactly.
No, I don't know. I can't even think that way. Mikey and everybody makes fun of me because I am really a kind of a bull in a china shop. But quite honestly, guys, I am a shy person. I am. I really am. I'm passionate because I know I love what I'm doing, and I think what we're doing is really important. But I've never been a limelight guy. I had a SAG card at one point because nobody knows this, I was Mr. Pibb when I was in college, if you know what that soft drink is. My line was "Have a Pibb, mister." And that was my claim to fame. After that, they tried to cast me in different shows. And I was horrible because I cannot act, and I'm shy, and it's not what I do. So whoever plays me is going to do a far better job than I'm doing in real life. I promise you that.
Well, you'll be unstoppable when you stop being shy. That's for sure.
Well, we're on a mission here, guys. This is a holy mission. And it's not just about making money. I'm a real estate broker. I've worked at the major places. I've trained people on how to do all sorts of broker duties, from notice of defaults to flipping homes. I've done it forever. And I've taken 4 years out of my life just dedicated to making HiberTec go. I funded it myself. There's no paychecks of any kind. It's a complete labor of love because we're doing something that's going to be, I think, earth changing. I've got such a great team. You know, Mike, you're so strong. My architect is phenomenal. My engineers, Dan and Jay, and my legal team, Carl, is so great. Of course, Jason with Entrepreneur Magazine. So I've got an incredible crew that are believers, and we just have to change the world here, and we're about to. We just have to build that prototype.
It's a culture change, and that living in a dangerous world with climate change or however else you want to categorize it, it's a culture change, and Malibu's struggling with it and trying to find its way through it, and city after city, not just in America but internationally, are struggling with this as well. How do we change who we are and how we proceed in this very dangerous world, and save our houses at the same time?
It always comes down to technology, right? There's always some sort of advent or change that makes something happen to make lives better. Microwaving dinners, or or air conditioning your house, or whatever it happens to be. There's always something that happens that makes things better and solves the problem. And airbags in a car, I don't care what it is. We've got a house that goes underground. It comes back up when the threats are past. Not just for wildfires or wind. Now we're talking about earthquakes. We're on a platform. We have a thing called allowable drift that happens on the platform. Mike, we haven't talked about this, but our engineers are now looking at the fact that we might be able to calibrate a certain sway or give that they're now building into the buildings so that we can survive an earthquake. That's another HiberTec benefit we haven't even talked about yet. So technology sometimes opens up other technologies, and we seem to be at the vanguard.
Well, that's actually the advantage of being located on hydraulics. Is it, I'm not exactly a scientist, but clearly buildings built in this area need to be able to shake. They're designed to shake to survive.
Right.
Yours is actually makes that easier.
I know, but we never thought that at the beginning. So we're quite excited about more and more potential that we can do. There was one last question, Khalil, that you had early that was before we were filming. And you said you might want to consider talking to from an investor point of view, why an investor might want to invest now,
Yeah.
and I feel weird about hawking this, like I'm selling something. But the fact is, we're pre-revenue. We spent all this time and money and all of the science. We've got 3 patents in hand. We're about to build our prototype. And we're at a very, very cheap valuation right now because we don't have revenue. But the second we build that prototype, when that thing is finished, orders are going to fly in, especially if we're affordable, and we will be enough that we will be able to service over 80,000 homes nationwide, just nationwide. And Canada is burning and everything else. Just talking about this, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry that we have a inside track with that nobody else has, an exclusivity, if you will, because of our patents and our IP protection. I think we can save homes and lives. I think we're going to save businesses. I think whole communities that can't even get insured. We even talk about that. The insurance companies just pulled out of California. Mike, you know this too. Allstate is gone. State Farm is gone. No new premiums because of wildfires. They can't absorb the risk. We are such an answer.
That's a great point, Holden. When I was mayor, I talked with California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara about this very subject. I said, listen,
Ricardo Lara.
My opinion is, I don't blame the insurance companies for leaving. I would not want to insure half the homes in my own neighborhood. They're built in the 60s or the 70s, and they are built to burn. Yeah. I said, I think we got to get to the place where your ability to get insurance at an affordable rate is calculated by how resilient your home is. And he agreed. He didn't really ever bring it forward quite that way. But to me, there should be multi-levels of resiliency that dictate your insurance rate and the desire of a carrier to insure you. It seems like it very obvious to me.
Very obvious to me too. I need to talk to the insurance commissioner. They need to know we exist. That was another question you had, Khalil. I know we're going long, and I'm sorry, but you said, what kind of strategic partnerships have you made yet? And where is this? God, we just came out of our silent bunker in the end of June. We haven't had a chance to even pursue the Allstates or the State Farms or the insurance commissioners that need to know us. My God, we also have a whole thing where we're going to need to build a fabrication plant. We need to build our own hydraulics. We need to build our own mechanisms to support our sales. Where else to do it than the United States? I don't want to farm this out to another country. I want to have control over quality control and pricing and scheduling And I'm thinking there are a lot of cities here in the United States that could really benefit from HiberTec's 2,000 jobs and building the fabrication mechanisms that support our sales. That's a whole nother thing that we're doing. So it's good across the board. It checks all the boxes. And I hope you all that are listening agree. That's the best I can do.
Mikey, I have a question for you. How do you
Yeah.
foresee the investment landscape changing with the rise of innovations like HiberTec? And are there particular aspects that investors should pay attention to?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, we live in a world of new technologies. Just look at AI now. And in my business, everyone's using AI. It's a great question. I think it's like any good idea. It's all about execution. So that's why Holden's completely correct. The next step is to build this thing and show it to people. And that'll not only show investors why this is worth taking the risk, I guess, to invest, but also show HiberTec too. Probably it'll reveal ways to improve it, ways to streamline it, all the details that will happen when you actually build the home. That'll be a really exciting moment. It'll be a great docu-series. So I don't have a better answer. There's a lot of new technology in fire resiliency. I'm not going to get into details or name companies, but some of it really misses the mark. And some of it has value, absolutely. And I got very involved in that space, obviously. The Woolsey fire happened 2 days after I was elected. So I walked straight into it, day one. And so it is a growing space with technology and companies and on multiple levels, not just private homes, but government and business. So yeah, there is opportunity there that'll be evolving, and I think HiberTec has a great chance to be a part of that.
And with the experience from the Woolsey fire, like how could you elaborate how this technology could have made a difference protecting the homes and lives during that event?
When the Woolsey fire came down Trancas Canyon into my neighborhood, about 10 of us went to it was 238 homes in our neighborhood. About 10 of us went to the top of the neighborhood to wait for it. And we had a couple hoses, and it came in like a Boeing 747. It came in like nothing I've ever seen before. And I've seen fires before. This was bigger and different. Before it hit us, I turned around. There's only 4 of us there because people just saw that and they're like, "Are you crazy? We're not going to survive this." There's a bunch of reasons I knew we'd be safe, but we were at the bottom of the canyon. Fire burns up, so I knew we'd be all right. But it was literally raining rocks on us. It was picking up the earth and raining rocks on us as it came into the neighborhood. So here's this overwhelming wall of flames. We got like 1 to 2 hoses and a sea of homes. We just strategized as best we could. Let's not let the first homes burn, because they'll take all the other homes with them, because a home gets very hot when it burns, hotter than typically the chaparral. So that's what we did. But within 10 minutes, a home near me exploded, got into the attic, and just sucked the air out of it, and the whole house just boom, and it was crazy. I have it on video. We just started losing homes right away. Any home that went underground would still be here today. So it's a simple answer. It's a super simple answer. And these are all approximately 2,500 square foot, more or less, homes. So they're generally, my neighborhood's all 1 story. These are perfect HiberTec homes, actually, are place for HiberTec home. So yeah, it would have made a dramatic difference. It just would have been night and day.
And there's a big focus on California, but where do you see this working in other markets in the US or internationally?
Well, there's fire zones all over the world right now that, Greece, Spain, Italy, Canada, as Holden said. And plus, the tornado belt, like Holden mentioned. It goes on and on and on. It's just, it's all over Australia. yeah, it's international. And, with changing climate, for whatever reason, it's changing. That's not even a political issue. It's just, yeah, the danger's increasing.
Khalil, right now there's moratoriums on where developers can even develop in the United States. The population's growing. Places where people want to live have restrictions now on being able to develop there because of wildfires alone. We solve that. I mean, we provide such a great solution of being able to do a whole community that can't get insured, where the Attorney General won't let them develop now, or whatever it happens to be. You will see this happen. I hope it's HiberTec. I mean, I hate to say that. Are we ahead of our time? I don't think so. We can build it now. I know we can. And they need us now. There's 468,000, I'm sorry to be so exact, homes that are built in the United States right now every year in high-risk wildfire areas. That's how many homes are being built. I've got all the stats in front of me. There are 37,000 homes in California that are built every year in high-risk wildfire areas, out of the 125,000 homes that Mikey already knows probably, that are being built in new construction every year in California just to meet demand. So 37,000 of those are what the CAL FIRE says is in high-risk wildfire areas. Of those, HiberTec can really only service around 10,000 of them. That's it, because of high water tables, or houses are on cliffs, or they're in a demographic that I can't reach yet. So all of our numbers are very, very pragmatic and very careful and very cautious. We know what the market is, and it's still so vast. It's so incredibly vast that we need partners to do it. And that's another important point. Right now, we have 3 homes that we have customized and calibrated to work within our mechanisms, our platforms, loads, calcs, balances, everything. We have 3 homes. We have a 1,600 square foot home, which is a baby bear. We have the mama bear, which which is 2,500 square feet, which is the one we're going to build as our prototype. And we have a 4,000 square foot. We've scaled all the way up to 4,000 square foot to work within our mechanisms and apparatus. But people say, well, are we only going to have 3 homes to choose from? Heck no. We're not home designers or builders. We built 3 that we knew could work, and it gave our engineers, our architects, something to work on as far as calibration goes. But we're going to partner with Pulte, or with KB Home, or with Lennar, or Shea, or Ponderosa, or Morrison. They just don't know we exist yet. I can't wait to get on the call and say, hey guys, partner with us. You build, we'll license you the technology. We're a royalty company. I'm not ever going to be a major home builder. I don't have the infrastructure for that. But the home builders out there that want to build in areas they can't build or develop right now, how about Colorado, the Marshall Fire that just hit? Holy cow, 600 homes obliterated, and they're trying to rebuild and they don't know what to do. They need to partner with me. And I'll give them the technology. I'll provide all of the mechanisms and all of our patented technology, and they simply build, and we will simply be a royalty business. And that, I think, is the key to why, again, you should invest with us, because we have a plan, and the plan makes sense. And the partners are going to want to be with us because we are the only game in town in those areas that are so high risk, not including the insurance companies and everything else. So that's kind of full circle where we're at.
And as we start to wrap up here, Holden, Mikey, what would you say to someone who's on the fence of investing into HiberTec? And then Holden, a follow-up question is, what can we do other than investing to get the word out of HiberTec?
Great. You want to start, Mikey, or do you want me?
Yeah, well, I'd say it's simple. You don't have to invest 100 grand to be a part of it. You can, the investment, I think, on Republic starts at $250 just to join in and be a part of it, and be that way you keep informed on what's going on, and you can add on later if you want. So it's really a no-brainer. Anyone can be a part of this journey.
Yeah, I had thank you so much. You're exactly right. You can be a part of our army, our revolution, we like to call it. I had an option, right? When I was starting to raise money for this build, I could have gone to established VCs, and a lot of high-tech companies do. They go right to Silicon Valley. And I went there, and I had some meetings with some of the biggest ones in the world, in the absolute world, no exaggeration. And at this point, an early company like mine, to get the kind of money I'm looking for, means giving up an enormous amount of control of my company. And I didn't think that was necessary. And I love the idea of an army of support, those $250 people that share us and TikTok us and talk about people. Look what we're doing. We're a part of something that's how often in life can you be a part of something that's so game changing? I hate that cliche, but in our case, I mean, let's face it, we got a corner on a new idea and a new technology. $250 minimum. You can buy in. You can be part of our army, and it's going to be exciting. And we're at the ground floor. This is a ground floor opportunity. It's going to, as soon as that um, prototype is finished, we are going to explode and rocket. And there's no question about that. I've been around these things before, so it's an exciting journey to be a part of at the very beginning. And to answer so whether you come in as a accredited investor, what we believe your return on investment is going to be staggering. And I don't think I can say that here, but I've had smarter people than me that are CPAs that have had to be arm's length for the SEC stuff that we do and the FINRA stuff. We can't make promises we can't keep. Are talking about ridiculous returns if we get to the point where we get our prototype made. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. To answer your other questions, what can people do other than invest? Well, everybody should invest. You should invest some $250 and be part of our team and get the newsletters and be part of our incredible movement. But if you can't, for whatever reason, just share the word. Just tell people about who we are and what we're doing. Feel good about what we're doing. We're trying our best to do something historic, a legacy play, something that's going to help generations beyond us. It's not just about the money, obviously. It's about saving homes, lives, making the world a better place. That's what it's all about. That's what GeoGreen Biofuels was about, taking grease and recycling it into a no carbon footprint fuel. That's what this is about. It's such a win across the board. So just share the story and enjoy what we're trying to do here, because somebody's got to think this way. Somebody's got to be crazy enough to take a risk and to risk everything and to make a difference. And that's what we're doing.
We got one last question here. How does HiberTec make money? Is it licensing? I'm going to invest based on today. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for that. And just like I said earlier, yes, it's licensing. We'll build our first few homes probably ourselves, which we'll subcontract out. I've been doing that for years, right? So that's what I do. I'm a real estate broker. I'm a builder developer. I've built many homes and done commercial buildings and stuff. So we'll do that. But really, yes, the play is licensing. We will partner with major home builders, established home builders. We may even work out a franchise situation where they have certain territories where nobody can, we might give Northern California to one builder who's where that's their ecosystem. And then we'll do something in Southern California, something in the Midwest, something in the Northeast, whatever it happens to be. But yes, partnering and a small royalty based on gross sales. That's the plan. And you go to republic.com or fundable.com, but probably Republic is easier, and see our 5-year projection as a potential investor, our pro forma of where we expect to be just based on royalties alone. And I think it will blow your socks off, just from an economic point of view, from a financial return point of view, let alone all the good stuff that we're doing for humanity. As a business, it's quite compelling.
Well, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. Mikey, Holden, thank you so much for your time today. And everyone who attended the webinar, thank you so much. And if you weren't able to attend the webinar, don't worry, this whole webinar has been recorded. We will be posting the replay on the Republic page, so be on the lookout for that. Any last things, Holden, Mikey, before we sign off?
Thanks for inviting me. It's been great to be here. I love talking about HiberTec, and so thank you, and just excited for the future.
I just want to say, Mikey, thank you so much for your participation. You inspire the heck out of me, man, for everything that you've done in your life and how you've conducted everything and handled stuff and been there. And today was no different. You were just tremendous. So thank you so much. And Khalil, thank you for the forum to be able to talk about HiberTec. I mean, that's all that's on my mind. And to have the ability like this and to have you there to create this opportunity, it's absolutely fantastic. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.